saying to him, move only to your right. George adapted by Mora only moving to his right, which now finally allowed George to start landing the left hook, which we didn't see for the first 8 rounds. Mora out cold.
The winner, and once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Big George.
George Foreman had quite the career that spanned decades. I mean, nowadays there's people that just know George for his grills, but that's almost an insult. You know what I mean? That's after the fact. George was in a ring knocking grills out, going toe-to-toe with some of the greatest fighters ever. From Ali, who we did lose to in the Rumble, in the Jungle, Frazier, the list goes on and on. But this clip right here was a moment that a lot of people thought there was just no way it was gonna happen. You know, when he had came back, and in '94 it came to a culmination of him getting in the ring with Michael Moore, who was 35-0. He was a beast. There was people that were actually saying George Foreman could die in the ring. No cap, I remember that. I can't find that headline right now, but tap in and comment if you remember back then when you were watching, if you remember hearing people saying that actually hitting the news. Like, this could be it for George. He could have bit off more than he can chew at this age to get in the ring with an undefeated fighter of this caliber. Is just too much. It's a bad decision. Well, what is George doing, etc. And you heard the announcers there. He wasn't really on the offense like that much of this fight. I remember this, '94. I was a kid. I remember a brother-in-law who was no longer a part of the family being at his crib when this fight was going on. And when this moment happened, when George dropped him and became the oldest heavyweight champ of all time, it truly shocked the world. Now, he went on and had a few more fights. I think like 3 or 4 more fights. The last one was a loss to Shannon Briggs, and then he hung it up for good. You know, he had came back to the sport of boxing a couple of times. But what we're talking about here, what George recently talked about in the media, was, I guess you would say, ducking a fight or turning down a fight, right? A mandatory fight that he wanted no parts of. And, you know, he just taps in on it here with no shame in his game, just 100% honesty. As you see the highlights playing of this fighter, Tony Tucker, who was no joke, George just simply wouldn't fight him. And in this recent quote with the media, this is what he said. He said, "They tried to force me to fight Tony Tucker after I beat Michael Moore. And I remember looking at Tony Tucker and saying, Mama didn't raise no fools. I'm not fighting him. And they took the titles. Some people I'm not gonna fight. That's the good reason. I didn't want to fight him. Too tough. I've got to tell the truth." And then, as I said, Foreman would fight 4 more times, losing his last bout to Shannon Briggs before hanging up the gloves for good in '97. And you heard him, you know, he did what many thought was the impossible, shocked the world, knocked out an undefeated Moore, became the oldest champ of all time. And then, hey, they said, this is your mandatory opponent, Tucker. And he said, hell nah, Mama didn't raise no fool. I'm just not doing it. And they took the belts, and, you know, like, that's obviously not a fighter like mentality, right? A fighting champion just go out there and box it out with anyone. But I mean, at this point in George's career, his age, how long his career had went on, the fact that he retired and came back multiple times, and he did, once again, what many thought was the impossible. I mean, you can look at it and say, oh, that's some sucker-ish, or you can look at it and say, hey, George was good with him. He didn't have anything else to prove. I mean, it's kind of wild, the fact that he went and became the oldest champ only to turn down a fight, but that's what he decided to do, and he's finally spoke out about it. And I mean, hey, again, this is a guy that fought Ali, Rumble in the Jungle, lost to him, fought Frazier, fought all the greats. But at that point in his career, his life, the oldest champ, I guess, for George, that was it. He had done enough, you know what I mean? Maybe people might have looked at him some kind of way, but he didn't care, So comment and let me know what you think about this. If you remember back then when he shocked the world, if you had wondered what exactly happened, why it all went down the way that it did, and he's clarified it all for you now, what you think about it. If you think that was a bad decision, a good decision, the right decision, just what you think about it. Let's talk about it all, as well as his career period. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me, man, how long Foreman's career went on, the style of fighter he was. And it's interesting, man, like generational gaps where some people are like, yeah, George Foreman, the grill guy. Like, nah, man, it's George Foreman, the world champ, you know what I mean? It's just kind of funny, but let's talk about it all in the comments. Share your thoughts, subscribe. It's Coffee, and I'm out of here. Peace.